to YouTube. I should try to figure out how to put it on Twitch, huh? So I can get comments and then people can start to pay. All right. I'm gonna do my little introduction. Oh, here we are. Can you see me good? Yes, I'm a little out of frame. Good afternoon. Welcome to ceramics class. Is that good? No? I gotta drop something, but I don't want to drop my project. Welcome to ceramics class. We have seen our other videos, and in the other videos, we have learned how to make slabs. We have learned how to put the slabs together to make a box. And today we are going to learn how to, and we learned how to put a lid together. Say that again. In the other videos, we learned how to make slabs out of a clump of clay. We've learned how to put it together to make a box. And we learned how to make a lid. And then now we are going to learn how to carve. I covered it. This was covered under. I wanted it to dry evenly, so I had everything in one bag, and I sprayed it real gently before I covered it. If I can get it out without breaking anything. That's the moment of truth. Can we take it out without breaking anything? So here is our box. Okay, there it is, our box. All right, we are going to figure out what type of carvings can we put onto this guy. Now that it's been sitting for a while, the edges and all the clay is all kind of together. So if there's something that you want to make it look a little bit different, so right here, it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a line. And that line is from the two different pieces of clay put together. So I can take a X-Acto knife or some kind of blade. Maybe the X-Acto knife might not work. And I can come and try to scrape away on the one that sticks out a little bit. And you guys see how it's taking some clay here, okay, and then by scraping away and taking some off, it's gonna make it feel like it's supposed to be all one piece of clay, so that when you go to glaze it, it's not gonna be different. Right here, this side's a little bit more obvious. It's kind of hard to see from there. So here, this side right here, problem is it's focusing on my face. Okay. All right, so on this side right here, you can see that line is pretty obvious. So I'm going to try to scrape away to make it nice and smooth, so it looks like it's one piece of clay. You don't want it to look like two different clays. Or maybe you do. Maybe that's like the look you're going for, but I'm not, so I'm just scraping away anything that is going to change the way that it feels. Okay? Alright, so I'll work on that a little bit more later. You can use this tool also do that. It has a kind of a blade on it too. This tool is called the loop tool. It's like a paring tool, I believe. Okay. All right. Then if there's any unevenness, I would just come in here with another tool that has somewhat of an edge to it that's flat, and then you just go in and smooth out those differences. And now it's hard to tell that it's two different pieces of clay, and that's pretty much what our goal is. There we go. I couldn't tell it if once I smooth it out, I wouldn't be able to tell. Okay. So I have two little kids, and sometimes people are wondering, why do I have these little kid markers? Sometimes people are wondering, why do I have these little kid markers? Well, I have two little kids, but that's not why I have them. They haven't even seen these markers yet. I use these markers so that we can transfer designs from paper to a surface that we don't want to just draw on top of. Okay, so we got to figure out what type of design do we want to put on this box. And I'm gonna go on a very simple design. It's just gonna have lines, okay, real simple lines. So you can do this with any piece of clay that's pretty flat, and I would just come in here and figure out where is the clay. Oops, that didn't work. I'm right-handed. This makes it a little bit hard. So I'm just kind of seeing where's the corners at so I know where to keep the design within. Okay, so the design is going to be right in this area. All right. And this marker is not really working. Sometimes it's not just my kids, but the student kids will borrow or use stuff and then forget to cover it, and then it dries out. Not to say that I never do that, but oh, it's focusing back there now. Come back. Hello. Okay. Marco, was that in focus or was that blurry right now?
I don't know. I was looking down.
Oh. What's up, Tony?
She can't hear you.
Oh. I just heard her voice. Okay. So I think I should, while it's here, go manual focus. Oh, shoot. Things this camera does to me. There we go. Okay, maybe I'll focus on the watch. Oh, the struggles of technology. Is that in focus? Is that in focus? Slightly off. Ugh. There we go. There's the focus, yes? Okay. I can't see your face expressions, Marco. All I can do is hear because I'm trying to see the screen too. Okay. So, alright. So here, I have my paper. I have my shape where it's going to go. And then I have my markers. Draw your design. Now remember, if I do letters, I have to do them backwards. If I do like just a shape, I don't care about what it is, then I don't have to do it backwards. Okay? So here we're just going to do lines. Use a ruler. We'll say keep it within, this shape here. That's hard to see, huh? The white. Nope, that's not doing it. Alright. Well, it's going to be hard to see. There we go with marker. Okay, so I have my lines, and my design has to be within this shape, or it doesn't have to, but I want it to be. Okay, and let's just say I'm going to do curves to it, okay? Let's say that's our design. Okay? So I have that, and I used a regular Crayola marker. That's not the wash. They make a washable version, but don't get that one because the washable version actually doesn't stick so well to the projects. Okay? So I'll bring this guy back. And I have my washable marker, and I have my shape, and all I'm gonna do is align it. Oops, I lined it backwards, but we're gonna run with it. Put it on that corner, and there it is. Okay, once it's in place, try not to move it. This is a lot easier on a larger flat surface. And then I'm just using my fingers to rub it down. As I do that, what happens is the marker transfers over to the clay. And I don't know if you can see that or not. If I use a blue or darker color marker, yeah, you can kind of see it. Then it transfers to the clay, and then I don't have to be trying to draw on the clay. Now, can I draw directly on the clay to fix some of this? Yes. The only issue about drawing directly on the clay is that sometimes it dirties your marker up and dries your marker really quickly because remember, clay is very absorbent. Okay? So we'll do one more like this. Okay. So that's going to be kind of my design going through on the clay, and then I'm going to go through and carve it out. I'm going to continue that design down here. So the way that you can do that is, you know, same as before, mark the corners so you know where the edges are. Okay, and then so that I know which way to make the marks. I'm gonna do it like that. Okay, so I real lightly, you can't really see what I did, but I lightly marked it so that I know where to mark it. Okay, so then I'm gonna bring that back over here, make those marks nice and dark. Okay, you can use a ruler to align those lines so you know where they're within. Okay. Then I would flip it over so that this is the side that I'm going to mark on, so I don't mess up like I did with that one. Okay, and then, oh, the lines, which way did the lines go? Those are the lines. So the lines are going this way like that. Okay, let me try a darker marker. Try these lines right here. Oops, that one's gonna have to move. Have to be like there. Okay. All right, now I have that section. Bring my project back. Bring it over. Put it in place. Hold it there with one hand. Don't let it move. And then go and rub down. By rubbing it down, it's transferring the color again. Okay? Very simple technique. The red, I feel like maybe even stood out a little bit more. So then go back and adjust whatever you need to adjust. So I'm actually starting to, it's not really cooperating with the clay right now where it's at. If your clay is not really smooth, it's not going to want to come out as nice as your drawing, because the clay needs to be pretty smooth to take up that texture. Okay. All right. So I have my lines here. Okay. And I'm going to try to match it, make it look like they join each other. Okay, why not just draw directly on the clay? Well, then you're having to smooth out a lot of stuff if you mess up on those drawings. And if you're wanting high detail, it's better to go with your pencil and do all your mistakes on the paper, and then come back and just go over with a marker. Okay, so now you know how to transfer clay. Okay, so that's how I would transfer clay onto the, now you know how to transfer, ink or marker onto the clay. And then from there, I can use that as a guide to carve. Okay, what can I use to carve? I can use X-Acto knives, good. I can use my ribbon tool. Good. I can use my loop tool. Good. I can use these tiny little wire ribbon, well, this one's broken, but tiny little wire ribbon tools. Those would work also. You've seen these before. You can use those also. Okay. Anything, I could carve with a fork if I needed to. Can carve with a knife. Can carve with the wood. Can carve with, you know, the metal scraper. Scrape out a lot. Can carve with another trimming tools. Okay, but these little wire tools work really good. I like them. There's another one that has a angled edge to it. Let me see if I can find one. These little guys are awesome. Look at that. You see how tiny this edge is? Those work really good for carving tight details. Okay? So if you're trying to get real high definition details, I would use these, the X-Acto knife, and maybe this guy. Okay? These ones are gonna be for larger areas. This would be in middle areas, okay? Alright, so as I'm here, see how I can do this. Can you see? Maybe we'll go top down. Okay. So as I'm trying to carve here, man, these lines look like they're all over the place. Need to fix them. Need to come more like that. You see how it's hard to draw on there? I'm trying to make it so that it feels nice and round all together. Okay. All right. So I'll deal with that ugliness later, but we're gonna work right here for right now. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I'm not gonna, you can do two different ways. You can carve just the line itself. That's one way. You can do the inside and leave every other, or you can leave a line that sticks up. That's pretty cool too. But for right now, let's just do a small line that we're taking out, okay? So we can see how to do that on this one. Okay, I'm gonna use a tool that everybody has in their toolbox, okay? And then here, we're going to just come in here and we're gonna come in here and just kind of scrape away at that line. Okay, so you saw how that worked? If I wanted to come in here, you see I use my finger to brace myself. Sometimes you use your hand, you put your hand on top of it. It's just like drawing, painting. You need to get a straight line. use something to brace yourself. Okay, so I have that one line carved in. I'm gonna zoom in. I think that would probably be our easiest way to do this. Okay. Okay. So for carving here, just come in here, use that to carve out my shape, my design. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The knife. Making sure that's the right line that I want. Yeah. Okay. Just the tip of the knife. Okay. So I can use that. It's kind of hard to see, you know, how tight that is, but it's I'm getting there. Okay. You can use an X-Acto knife that can. This blade is very similar to the X-Acto knife. Okay, that will throw some, and that'll make it easier to see. You can use the other blade, the round one. Get an angle in there. Might be a little bit easier. The more you carve and you try different tools, the more you'll start to like, you know, some more than others, and you'll have a favorite. Okay, so this technique right here that I'm doing, it's hard to see, but this technique right here, maybe it's easier to see in here, in this view, but you can see the lines. But if I take the blade on the side of it and Hong, you're watching, right? Okay, if I take the blade on the side of it and I scrape one side and I leave the other, that's gonna create a shadow here. So it's gonna feel like it goes down and pops back up. So if you're looking at it like a side view of it, it looks like that, where it looks like that, where this is the surface right here. We carve down here and then we carve this edge out. So this will be nice and smooth to here, and then it'll pop up. So you don't have to add clay or take away a whole lot of clay. It's just this little triangle shape that you're taking out. Okay, and that little bit of carving trick, I would say, has made a lot of carvings appear to look like, you know, this one is lower than that one, but it's just from the way that they angled one edge. Can you use wood carving tools? Of course you can. I got some right here. Okay, those could go in and you can carve edges too and do whatever you need to do. I'm not going to use those right now. But here you can see I'm just carving this side, not that side. Hung, what did they say?
What?
What did they say?
I don't know.
How are you gonna get a ride? What city do you live in, Hung?
Edmonton. I'm living in Edmonton.
But what did they say about a ride to pick up your stuff?
They say that I have to wait them to pick up my stuff.
But wait till when?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
For sure is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, as you're carving, if you get trash on there, you get a soft brush. The brush can clean it up. As you're carving, if you get a, let's say you're carving here and there's some trash, you don't need to blow on it. You get a soft brush. This is just a glazed brush. Any soft brush will work. You can just dust off all your carving chips, and then that way, I mean, don't dust it. You can brush it off. That way you don't ruin anything by trying to use your fingers to knock it off. You can use your fingers. You don't have to use your fingers. It's just sometimes your fingers can be stronger than you want them to be. Okay. So I'm gonna come in here and try to make this one a little bit deeper. So I'm doing that angle thing. I'm doing the cut and angle and gradient out carving cut, so that I'm doing it straight down and gradually cut to nothing, so it looks like one shape is on top of the other. Everybody knows how to do this right here. What I'm doing right now is just a regular line cut. This is what usually you'll see. Marco, can you look online to see if there's a name for that type of carving cut?
For what carving cut?
Just look at like if there's names and then descriptions of what the different carving cuts are. Alright, so I have that kind of carved out how I want it to be carved. You can, there. You can kind of see how it looks like they're stepped. Go a little bit more on this one. You can use the back side, the round side, to smooth stuff out. If you need to smooth anything out, you can go back and smooth it out with that to give it that texture, or the, you know, that smooth surface that you were looking for.
I can't find any specific name.
For carving? Like,
Yeah, all I
Alright.
see is like wood carving, stone carving, clay carving.
okay. I'll look some up later. Thank you. Okay. So that's how I would suggest trying to try to carve out your shape. I don't know, it's easier for you guys to see that. It's difficult because of, oh, I can put it on the side. Here we go. All right. Now, sometimes you got to move things so that it's easier to work with. Right here, you can see how it dips down in here. So I carved straight down here and I gradient out to where it's flat again. You could go farther, and I believe that's how they do the that's how you carve scales. So maybe it's called a scale cut, not sure. So we're cutting down at an angle, or down at an angle. It's not straight across. Okay, so here you can go back and carve the next one. Just do the lines for right now, and we can do that at an angle. So you see I'm holding this here, not straight up. As I hold down, this makes it get deeper on this edge and then less deep over here.
Mr. B,
Yep.
what time is class in?
At, I don't know.
In 20 minutes, 1:50.
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you, Marco. All right. So that's how you could do some carvings. I'll carve more out later. I don't know, I keep saying I'll carve more out later and then I go back to it. I'll just do this line and then anytime you carve, you need to make sure that you are supporting the backside, because sometimes we put too much pressure and we break our projects.
What kind of marker should we have again?
Just a regular Crayola marker, not the washable ones. When transferring, use a regular Crayola marker, not the washable ones. And Sharpie does not work. It's like you need something that's going to transfer onto another material easy. So if it gets on your hands easy, you know, from the paper, then that's fine.
Dang, I was using ultra washable markers.
No, those don't work, huh?
No, it doesn't stick at all.
Yep. Those are for the little kids. Okay, here I'm doing this to get a more sharp indent or valley. Now, if you get marker on your project, it will burn off. So if you just leave that nice drawing there and don't do anything, when it fires, it will not show up. It will disappear. Nice thing about that is if you made a mistake with the marker, like I did, it will not show up. If you do a low firing, permanent marker might show up a little bit. Something in it is making it so that it is more. Here it's hard to see, but those are the carving, the lines. Okay. So there's the difference between lines, carving lines, and taking out a wedge. It's hard to see the difference, but there is a difference. Let me try to get
Mr.
a
B?
view where you can see it. Yep,
Can I go use the restroom?
yeah.
Thank you.
Here you can see the difference between carving an edge and coming out and blending, and then just carving a line into the clay. So whatever you choose to do, you can do either one, okay, for that type of carving. And that's how I would carve or transfer images onto clay to carve. Here you can see another one. So here we have this one, it's cleaner. You can tell that it's cleaner here. These ones, they go in and they come straight out at a sharp edge. These ones, they just go in at a line. So you can see how this one looks like it's stepped more. This one just looks like it's all the same level, it's just carved into it. And that's how we carve into clay. All right. Mr. Asante, you have a question?
No.
All right. You just
There to visit.
here to visit?
Yeah, scratch my legs.
Remington
Remington.
is loving your visit.
Hey.
Those of you that are online right now, Mr. Asante is here.
Hi.
You can't see him, but he's here. You just gotta take my word for it. Well, you'd have to put your head like right here for them to see you. There he is. That's him.
All right, Remington, come on.
Where were you at in the music? In
Yeah.
your?
Music room.
Are you teaching all your classes from there?
Huh?
Are you teaching everything from there?
Yeah.
So you don't really go over to the elementary music anymore?
No.
I guess that's one good thing about being online.
Right. But we're still limited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they want that they can get help with, but
Yeah. I'm making these match. You can't even see what I'm doing. I'm making these match the other ones. I'm going to do the same type of carving on these so that they can match. There. There's a nice feel to it. Okay. Take off all the little pieces. And that's how we get our carving. Then I figure out where else am I going to carve. I'm going to carve that side. So I'm going to put it back on the bottom base, like that. And put it up like that. So I carved that edge. So I can carve this bottom edge also. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Put this on its side. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. All right. So here you can see in there, you can see I have the steps. It's not super smooth. You could go in and smooth that out if you, oops, I can't even see that. The steps aren't too bad, but later on go in and make it perfect. So sometimes seeing your guys' point of view makes me realize that, which is a lesson in life, right? You get a point of view from someone else, and then you go and notice, oh, I never saw it that way before. And then you have a new understanding, or you come to a new conclusion that there's more than one way to think about it. Okay, so for this side here, I'm going to, I can't put this on the top because I don't have, because I have this right here on it. So I'm going to have to do this one on its side. So I'm going to take the paper like this. I'm going to mark the corners. Well, I could do it this way too. If I can hold it here and then just trace it. This is just so that I trace the edges. That will help me to know what shape it is. Then I can go and draw the shape. Put all the lines I need to put on it. Melvir, can you turn that light down? You see the top roller?
Right.
Yeah, roll it to the
80%,
put it at 50 or 40.
This is 50 right here.
I'll put that at 40.
40.
Okay, that's good.
That's good.
Thank you. All right. So here I have my shape that I drew of it. I'm going to make the design that I want to have on it now. I gotta figure out which direction to go with it. It sits kind of like this. This is the bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom.
Used to be.
Yep.
Can I start packing up? It's like 5 minutes till class ends.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. You can quietly pack up and clean up. All right, this is the top and this is the bottom. So I'm gonna just do a simple shape here. Maybe come across and over or step. I could do the round shapes, but I don't really want to do the round shapes again, so I'm going to do something else. I'll try another color again to see if we get better results. You could go with, your pencil to figure out how, if you like that shape, or that's kind of cool. That's like the opposite. All right, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try it anyways. I'm gonna do straight. Yeah, we'll do this. Okay, hopefully that's where it's supposed to line up. We'll see. Okay.
Hey, Mr. B.
See you.
Mr. B.
Yep.
Do I the
pieces that I cut out, do I just let them dry under a bag?
No, you want to cover it really well so it doesn't dry out.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, good.
And then I just go back later today and just
Yep. Finish
put 'em
it.
together.
Yeah, put them together.
Yeah, thank you.
See you. Okay, once you have your shapes drawn, I messed this one up here, so I'm not going to use that. Then you go rub it down again. Find the side that it belongs to. And that's how it goes. Hold it in place. It's hard to hold this one. You can cut out your shapes. Like you could cut out just that side, but I just use one paper because it's easier and quicker for you guys to see. But if I wasn't trying to video, I was gonna show you, just not show, but I was just gonna do the design. I would cut out the red, and then that would be easy to just hold in place and get it exactly how I want it. Okay, so you see how this has the blue marks on it? You can go back with a ruler now, if you want, and guarantee those marks by running something along them, like that. That.
Mr. B,
Yep.
shall we go to our next spot?
Yeah, I told you leave.
Oh, my bad. Have a nice day, Mr. B.
You too. Okay, so I have my little indents here ready to carve. Now here, you gotta decide how are you gonna carve it. Are you gonna carve it sticking out or sticking in? It's really up to you. I think I'm gonna make these larger this time, and then these little areas are just gonna go in. So because this bottom one down here is so low, I'm gonna start from here and carve up, and then this one start here, carve up, this one start here, carve up, and this one start here and carve up. Okay, so I'm just gonna come here and right along that edge. If you're afraid that you don't have a steady hand, you can bring the ruler back and just run along the ruler. So there's my first carve. Run back over again. If you have a steady hand, this is easy. If you're worried that you're going to mess it up, you might, and it's likely that you do. I do sometimes too, because I'll hit a rock in there, or some grog, or sand, or whatever you want to call it, and it makes you go a different direction. And you're a little sad. But it's okay. If you do that, you can fix your mistakes or adjust off of them. And don't be afraid to. Here I'm doing this so that you can see me do it, but I would probably do it like this, where I could get nice and square on it. Okay. Let me see if you can see it. You can't really see on a top-down view. Okay. So you're not gonna be able to see it. So I'm just gonna do it from the side so you can see it. So this is kind of a relief carving I'm doing here, where these larger areas are going to feel like they're sticking out. Now I'm going to do another one here. There we go. Estelle, did you do your research? Morning or afternoon. Did you guys do your research? I can't hear. You gotta talk to me because I have the video on. Did you do your research, Estelle? Estelle,
Yes.
you did the research?
No, but because I don't know what is I don't know. I'm not sure with my title.
What is your title?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you forgot your title. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Estelle, your title is Charger Cables. And
Sorry, what?
charger cables.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you need to do research.
Okay.
Anna. Anna?
Yeah.
What was your subject?
Sure.
Shoes. Did you do your research?
Yeah, but I put it on the desk on my table and I can't find the book. I have to look for it.
Okay, you look for it.
Put it.
Yay. Leilani. Are you here?
It's not here.
Okay.
And can I go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Kai.
Yeah,
Did you do your research?
a little bit.
A little bit. You gotta do more?
I think, yeah.
Okay. So start right now.
Okay.
Jack.
Like, so I kind like I have confused what kind of research we need to look at.
What are you gonna do your
Like,
project?
because
What are you gonna do your project on? Your kitchen tools, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. My topic is kitchen tools, so I don't know how to. You mean like by a research is what?
Like, what do your kitchen tools have to do with everyday life? Your everyday life.
Like how to we join each line in each kitchen tooth or what?
Maybe. Depends what idea you come up with for your research. Now you do have to incorporate line.
Proper line, so
So use line in your
Notebook.
artwork, but also your subject is going to be what you're going to start all your research on.
Mr. Bear, I got the book and I wrote what lines and how lines are used in shoes. So I wrote the sneakers have patterns and texture lines. And I wrote that also heels and combat boots have diagonal and horizontal lines.
Okay.
That's why.
But how are you going to research, or what did you research on? How does your shoes affect your everyday life? So you might show it with lines, with a drawing, or painting, or sculpture, or you're gonna make your own shoe. I don't know, but how does it affect the everyday life? How does it impact Anna's everyday life? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna spend, I think we all need a little bit more time to research. So we're gonna spend time right now. It's 2 o'clock. We're gonna go till 2:30 trying to, I'm gonna keep carving on this and record. I'll be talking, but you guys can just ignore me quietly. Okay? Ray, you do your research?
Yeah.
Okay. And what'd you do your research on?
My topic, the road, the page side, and the paper. I got a little idea.
No, but paper was your subject.
Like,
So you need
What?
to research, what does paper have to do with your everyday life?
okay.
Okay, Leilani, you got food. Did you research some ideas, Leilani?
How it affects my everyday life.
Yes.
Is that okay? No, I really haven't.
Okay, so you're gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mario, is Mario here? No Mario? Okay, so each of us are gonna research right now, how does our subject affect our everyday life? And then you are gonna try to come up with some ideas on how can you turn that into a project. Okay? All right, let's do this. Make sure you're muted so that the recording doesn't pick up your noise. And then when I start calling on you guys, then we can unmute. Okay?
So you mean like relate to our life, which means we use it every day. So
Maybe.
we relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you mean relate to our life. So I'm thinking my topic is kitchen tools. So we can like we cook, we eat, we need to that tools and.
Yep. But how can you turn that? How can you turn that into a project?
The line, each type of line.
No,
So
no, no,
that
no,
is
no. You don't have to do that. You're just using line to show how that connects to your everyday life? Does that make sense? So maybe you know the artwork is gonna be. So just find out, how does it connect to everyday life, so you can answer that.
How to that connect to everyday life?
Yes, and then
Yeah,
how
and we cook.
and then how can you turn that into an art project? And in that art project,
We all
you're gonna use line. So you might not use color. You might just use black and white line, or maybe use colored lines. Does that make sense? No? Okay, one step at a time. Figure out, how does the kitchen utensils or kitchen tools affect your everyday life, okay?
Can't I just say that I eat food every day?
No.
Huh? It gives me nutrition.
Okay, it can also create fat. It can give you malnutrition, bad nutrition. So if you use it unwisely, so how can you make an art piece that kind of expresses those different thoughts about it?
I have no idea. I'll think about it.
Yes, that's why we're researching right now, okay? So here, it's a little bit uneven on my project here, so I'm just using the edge of the knife to scrape it to make it nice and even. All right. Then I'm gonna come back in and carve out the rest of these lines. Alright, so now that I have my lines kind of carved out over there, I can move on to another shape. Or another side if I want to do it. Okay. Use my soft brush to take away any trash or extra. Clean out any grooves that I might want to clean out. I'm going to set this back on its side, how it was, or on the bottom. Kind of has a cool feel to it. Oh, some trash down here. Alright, so I can put this side, I can put this on the bottom, and then I can carve the top here. There we go. So again, you get the paper, you figure out what the size is. Yeah. This time I'll show you how I would cut the paper. I'm going to mark it to where the ends are. So then that way I know where it's going to end. Now why didn't I do that in the middle of the page? If I marked it in the middle of the page, I'd have more cutting to do. And then I might not be able to fit other shapes of paper. So, save paper. Use the edge first. And then you have more material to work with. Okay. So this will fit right on top, like that. Okay. Does it fit both ways? No, not really. Okay. What kind of design can we put here? Maybe we'll just do straight lines going across. Or we can carve out that shape. We can do something like trace out. Need something thinner. Okay. So here, this is going to be my ruler now. Okay. I'll get another color. Maybe I'll trace better. Okay, I think those 3 steps are plenty. That color was not so good either. No, it wasn't so good. Maybe. There we go. All right, so it transfers nicely. I'm going to come back and go over with another color that has more ink to it. And then the marker hopefully will transfer better. Okay, now that I have that done, bring this back. Okay, find where it goes, align it, so I cut it nicely to fit. I'm gonna come and rub it down. Okay, transferred nicely. Okay, now I can carve it. I'm going to carve just this side and leave the rest. The way I can do that a few ways. I can run a ruler again so that, where'd the ruler go? I can do that freehand, or I can run the ruler so that I don't mess up. Okay, if you do go over a little bit, just go and smooth it back out. That one went a little bit crooked. I'm gonna run it again. I might have some issues when carving. I hope not. All right. So I have this shape here. Now, if I decided to carve it so that I have like an outline to that carving, I'd come back one more time and make like a groove. So I know not to go. I did it with the little needle tool, but that wasn't deep enough or wide enough. So this way, I know not to go past that point when I'm carving. Okay. All right. Now, I think I'm gonna, I don't know, I guess this is a fine angle to work with. All right. Now this tool right here has a little groove to it in the cut. You can kind of see there. I'm just gonna go in there and carve away inside this shape. Okay. Mario, you're supposed to be researching, if you're unsure what you're doing, researching your subject so you know what to do for an art project.
Yeah, about the clothes.
Yes. So how does it affect your everyday life? And how can you express that in an art project using line? And that's what we're doing. They're just quiet because I'm recording. Huh?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you to research it.
Oh, I already researched it.
Okay, so you have a good idea of how you're gonna do it?
Yeah. Wait, is it? Could it be a presentation?
No. This is a project that we're looking for.
A written project, right?
No, an art project.
Oh.
So how can you portray whatever your meaning is through art?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're spending time right now researching that. Okay?
Alright. Yeah.
Alright. Alright, so Mud Tools makes a tool that can carve. So Mud Tools makes this. And all it is two blades, two different sizes that can carve. And I'm going to use that to carve out the inside here. And it makes kind of like a, I don't know, what do you call it? I don't even know what they're called now. It makes kind of like a scale effect, you could say. Sometimes they get a little stuck. I'm just showing how you can make a textured feel to your work. If you want to make it feel random, you go back over, get rid of some of those lines you did. Or don't do them all in the same row. Twist back and forth as you go to get that random feel. Just go around the outside and I'll come back and add. Okay. As I go through, I need to just do the texture to all the areas that I feel the texture needs a little bit of help or it's missing, so I can get that random uniform feel, if that makes sense. You always want to, when you're making something random, it's actually, I mean, you can do truly random, but a lot of times our brains try to make patterns. So let me see if I can show you what that looks like. Maybe that's a little bit clearer. As I come in here, I'm just gonna check to see where has extra clay that doesn't need it. Alright, I think that's a decent texture. Maybe a few high spots there. Okay, so it doesn't feel like it's all wavy and kind of weird. I'm gonna go back, make a nice hard line. I'm gonna go back and make a nice hard line on the outside. Okay, here it doesn't have a like a uniform feel on the outside, but the inside has a nice texture to it. That's something you can do. So I'm going to take the ruler, align it on that lines, and then I'm gonna get one of the carving tools, something that has an angle to it. This one just so happens to be the angled one. And I'm gonna come and just run against the side of that ruler and go a little bit deeper. To make a nice clean cut. And then you can see how this line is nice and straight compared to these other ones. Now I'm going to do that to all of them. Now the inside ones. Okay, so there you have it. There is how you can do, there is how you can do carvings, like little texture carvings to a flat surface. Here is how you, on this one, how you can do some angles, not angle, but dig down. Here is how you can go straight down and then gradually come out, so it feels like they're laid on top of each other. And here is just taking out material. So some places are flat, some place, or they're all flat, but some place it's like step down, step back up, step down, step back up. So those are different types of carving techniques that you can put on the sides of your boxes. And this box has carvings, has a lid, has a handle, has my name on it, which is very important to have your name on your projects. And there we go. Sometimes less is more, so maybe I won't carve more. I guess I could do the opposite side of, which one is it? One of these is not carved, right here. This one. So this side could use a carving. There you have it. We have our lidded box. We have our lidded box with carvings. So you can see, you can use the same techniques for a regular box. It's just sits like this. Okay. You can use those same techniques that we learned on this box for any type of shaped box. Thank you for watching. Go and be creative.